You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's The Real Housewives of Miami After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Real Housewives of Miami After Show.
All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. I am Michelle, and we are here doing another after show for the Real Housewives of Miami. This is Season 3, Episode 11, The Black Sheep. Like I just said, I'm Michelle, and I'm joined with a new face that you've never seen before. It's my lovely co-host for tonight.
Hello, I'm Ashley. Ashley Daniels.
Yes. Welcome, Ashley.
Hello.
Okay, so the episode is called The Black Sheep.
Yes, it is.
And that's obviously a play on words because Leah Black is, I guess, somewhat of the black sheep of her family.
Yeah.
We see her head back to Texas, her hometown of Waco, Texas,
Yes.
which is obviously why we came into the song. Is that song called All My Exes Live in Texas? Or I don't know.
It was the best song we could think of.
Yeah, it was the only song that we could think of that had the word Texas in it.
We wanted to have a theme with everything. So.
Yeah, so let's just jump right into that. That's going to be our first topic tonight. She goes home, and we see her preparing for this trip. She is taking RJ, and she's taking Lisa.
Yes.
Of all the girls.
Definitely not a surprise there that she's taking Lisa. I mean, it's her or Joanna at this point. Right?
Yeah, and Joanna
Who else is left?
Yeah, and Joanna, as we're going to see later in the episode, is wrapped up in having this whole, like, love rejuvenation with Roman.
Yes, she's finally, everything's rekindled now, I think. But we'll get into that.
So she says, like, while we see the scenes of her packing and all, she says that she graduated high school and then she left Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And we see later in the episode that she has, of course, like a large extended family. So to me, I thought that was an admirable moment that, you know, I mean, I moved, like, my family lives in Virginia, and you said your family lives in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And so we both live in Los Angeles now, obviously, and we've moved away from our families. But when I moved, I was 22 years old.
Right, yeah.
About
the same age for me,
yes.
23. Yeah.
And I can't imagine, you know, I did go to college, but it was like 2 hours away from where I grew up.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, I mean, for her to move and leave her family at 18, I think that, you know,
she definitely was looking for something, and she was not going to get it at home, clearly. So it's interesting, though, because we didn't know that about her. We really didn't. We've never really seen much about her. We had to really leave it to our imaginations with her.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, we learned a lot today.
Yeah, I really like that about this season of the show. I think we've learned so much about all of the characters. You know, Roman and that whole, I mean, he's not a housewife, but, you know, he's part of the cast. And the revelation that happened, was it last week or it was a week before last with his like stepmother?
Therapist.
Yeah, so that whole thing, obviously we've learned so much about Alexia and her relationship with her ex-husband. And now this is just another thing, and I think it makes the viewers so much more engaged, and it makes them so much more interested in not only kind of like aspiring to be like these women because they have money, but it makes them, you know, relate to the housewives.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much money Leah Black has. She comes from a small town, and she has a family just like the rest of us.
Well, I don't think it's a shock either that at this point she's doing this. She is kind of the black sheep of her friends at this point. I mean, she's really in her society, in her social circle. There's really not that many people left. She's kind of becoming an outcast. And I think that, you know, with Lisa, I think she's very smart, and I think she strategically decides to do anything in her life to actually make her look better. And I think this was all planned out, and obviously
you made a comment while we were watching, like, what is her motive behind doing this? Because obviously Leah Black is known as kind of like a calculating character that does things with some kind of motive behind them. And so I would agree with you that I think this is maybe like a cry for her to be like more relatable with the audience, maybe, or
I think even with everybody, all of the rumors, even like on the reunion last season, when they said like she does her best work on her back, I mean, there's a lot of things that really aggravated her, and she wanted to make a point that she's made her own money. She did not marry Roy for any money, and she comes from a very good family. And I think she knows that her reputation's on the line at this point, because there are so many people actually talking about her and have a lot to say about her.
Okay. So do we think this trip to Texas hurt her or helped her?
I think definitely helped her.
Definitely,
absolutely.
yeah. I agree.
I already love Leah Black. Now I'm like, ooh, all hail Leah Black.
No, I agree that it helped her, just because, like you said, it points out that she, not to say that she didn't necessarily marry Roy for his money, but I think it definitely demonstrates, like, all the footage we saw from when she was younger and all of her old, employees. It shows that if she needed to, she's definitely a woman that could make it on her own.
Oh, absolutely.
And some of the other housewives, I don't think we can say the same for them.
I think Lisa's really trying to find that, and she's looking at Leah as kind of an inspiration. She sees that Leah left just like she left Canada. Lisa left from Canada when she was around the same age to become a model and an actress. I think she's inspired by Leah's take on just leaving a really great family in search for more. So.
I would like to, I will say that Lisa is always quick to kind of delve into other people's, family and, history, and try to figure out what's going on with them. And ironically, she's the housewife that we know least about at this point.
Well, that's always the way. When you don't want to look at yourself and you don't want to deal with some of the things that you have to deal with, you look at other people's lives and you try to help other people. And it's a way to kind of, not handle certain things or take responsibility for certain issues. I mean, she obviously has issues with her in-laws, like especially her mother-in-law. They do not get along.
They don't.
It is
That's
bad.
an understatement.
She has these horrible fertility issues going on, which is so sad. And, she never sees Lenny. He's never home. So she's by herself all the time with her maid. Yeah. With Daisy.
And Daisy's gone now. Daisy started her own thing.
Daisy did, yeah, she did.
Daisy
so
left her.
I guess you'd really find other people's lives interesting at that point when you're that bored,
Yeah. What I will say, the reason why I ask is kind of like, do we see Leah, more positively or more negatively after the trip, is because I agree that, I like her more after this. But I don't know if some viewers would maybe think that the way she was acting towards her family is kind of bad. So I want to get into that a little bit, because
let's do that, because I got a lot to say.
Yeah. So, there was, the word that I wrote down was like animosity. I don't know. Yeah, is that the word I wrote down? And ironically, it's like not even the ones that still live in Texas that seemed like they had the chip on their shoulder, but it seemed like Leah was like upset about something, or like she didn't want to be there.
I don't think she was upset. I just think that Leah she's so consumed with what people think about her, and her image is so important to her that she does not want people to think that she isn't as high in society once they see where she comes from. Because when you talk that much and you express that much that you do not fit in with your family, clearly it's because you do not want people to think that you have any, that you are anything like them. So clearly she's nervous that people are gonna think that she's different now, and she just wanted to shed light on herself, and that she's actually has a big heart, but that she's not any different in society. So.
Yeah, I didn't like the shade that she was throwing towards her family. Like, I mean, it was
immature.
maybe one time to kind of acknowledge the differences and say, they're in Texas. Texas is a lot slower, and my life is a lot different in Miami. Right. But it seemed like it was coming from a malicious place. And at the end of the day, like, this is your family.
See, I didn't see it as malicious. I understand what you're saying, but I guess, like, obviously you can get a different view from what you see, and watching that, I just saw that she was more self-conscious about it. She's insecure. Yeah. It stems from insecurity. It also stems from, I think she has a lot of bitterness toward losing her sister so fast, which I know we're going to get into. Yeah. And I think that that's a lot of anger inside of her, that she's kind of just like ran away from this whole situation. And I think that it's caused a lot of grief when she goes back. I think that's where you're getting the whole feeling of animosity.
I agree 100%. Which we can jump into that. We obviously see it's kind of a turning point in the episode when we learn that her sister died. But I will say really quickly, I just wanted to say that if we kind of attribute the negative, comments that were made of Leah's to insecurity, what do we attribute Lisa's negative comments to? Because she, I think, had a lot of negative things to say too. And it's not negative necessarily, but she kept harping on the differences, and in doing so, I think it came across as very judgmental. Like the differences.
Do you mean her differences between Leah and her family?
Yes, and Texas, and the Texas Leah and the Miami Leah. And to me, I thought that was a little.
I think it's because even though they get along, there's still an underlying issue that's really they nipped it a little bit last season, but still Lisa sees that Leah does put a front up, and I think it aggravates her, and she doesn't do it in front of Leah. Clearly when Leah walks away, then she's asking about Leah's past and asking about her history. She's digging for something, because she, even with the diamonds, she's like, I own my diamonds, she borrows hers. She's always putting a little dig in there, with Leah.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, because I had forgotten all about the fact that they kind of had that little drama last season. But you're exactly right.
She called her old all the time. She always references age. I mean, Lisa is, she's not a spring chicken. She's 30 years old. I mean, I'm not saying that she's old by any means, but she acts like she's 18 and that Leah's like, 96 years old. It's just not the case. And so I think that Lisa always does these little digs anyway.
Little dig, yeah.
It might stem from jealousy. Who knows, Might just be frustration.
Yeah, and we see next week that they're going to maybe have some words.
We did see that. That was interesting. And then she's all of a sudden, we see Leah talking to Adriana, which of course, that's what you do. When you lose a friend, you go back to another one. All of a sudden you see something great about them.
But speaking of losses, of course, we have to discuss the fact that Leah lost her sister, her only full sister. She has two other half-sisters who we saw in the episode, but her only other sister that had the same mother and father died in a freak accident where
I think her name was Kim, right?
Kim, that's her name. Where she actually,
that was tough. I mean, once again, we see that Leah just cannot. She won't even take her sunglasses off. We see tears. We know she's crying, but she can't let that guard down. There's obviously, and listen, when you have cameras around you, we forget there's tons of cameras around them. It's obviously not easy to just be so vulnerable and let all your emotions out. It's not easy. So I can understand why she didn't really want to get into that and get into the details, but I'm very surprised that they even brought it up, because they first just mentioned, oh, when you borrowed something from Kim, you never got it back, and we're all thinking she's alive and kicking. Where is this lady? And all of a sudden they're like,
I'm thinking she had something else to do and just didn't come.
And then all of a sudden they just lay it was just
well, yeah,
shocking.
I mean, I think the producers may have kind of pushed Lisa to ask, because Lisa goes, well, where is Kim? I keep hearing about Kim. What happened to her?
Right, you're right. You were right about that.
I kind of thought that was a little contrived moment there for them to pull that story out. And I mean, it makes sense, because as we were watching the episode, I was giving her so much crap in my head, because I just didn't like the way she was bashing her humble beginnings. And then when they, kind of let it out that her sister had passed away, I said, okay, well, that makes sense why she would have problems with Texas. Obviously, being in Texas where you grew up with your sister is going to bring back memories that she probably doesn't want to face. But at the end of the day, I think she needs to deal with those and kind of.
Well, I think it's interesting you just said having Lisa around when she does that, when she's kind of with the animosity and it also could be a reason why Leah is so adamant about expressing her, that she's so different from her family and they are like night and day. Maybe because she's, she feels a little embarrassed because Lisa's really not letting her feel good about it. She never really says anything that's too oh, wow, your family's so wonderful. It's always something, like you said, a little bit negative. So,
yeah. I mean, well, Lisa on one hand is saying your family is so sweet. They're so great. But then she always points out the differences in Leah and her family. And it's just why are you hard? Everyone that's watching the show gets it. We understand. Right. Leah is a millionaire and lives in Miami, South Beach now, and wears 50 carats worth of diamonds at a time. And we get it. We know that she's different from her family. So why do you keep harping on it? So that, I didn't
shows
like that.
It's really that she doesn't feel like she has a self. Her self-worth is based on her money. And she's kind of empty on the inside. And when you're empty, sometimes you have to find superficial things to, really give yourself more of a feeling of I don't know, just like one of those things that.
So the moral of this story is that the trip to Texas gave Leah a few points and deducted a few from Lisa.
Absolutely. I guess so, yeah. I mean, I think Lisa was just being Lisa. I really didn't see anything too different. She's always like that.
Yeah, she's very materialistic.
Extremely.
And I think
and she's getting worse.
And I think it's more so, I wonder if, because the Housewives had a tendency to they come out in their first season and they're kind of not themselves fully. And then they get a little bit more comfortable in the second season.
Yes.
And after the second season, they get a lot of backlash. And the third season is when they kind of reel it in and kind of figure out what works and what doesn't work.
Right.
And I wonder if this second season of the show is going to make Lisa realize, because I mean, she's got it. I'm sure with the whole Birkin thing and
that's just silly. That's just
stuff. I know that there have got to be viewers out there that are annoyed with her being so materialistic and her being so shallow in the terms of we haven't seen anything about her.
Listen, I'll tell you, I grew up around a lot of people that felt the need to always tell you when they got something new. And I used to think it was just so obnoxious and so annoying. And I just realized it's just because they don't feel like they have anything else to offer. And clearly she mentions that many times that she really gave up everything and got married.
Yeah.
When you don't feel like you have much else, it's like you have to talk about your Birkins. And hey, that's not a bad life.
Yeah. What I want to see next season, producers, is Leah's family coming to Miami. So
yeah, I know.
What is that going to be like?
We're going to go to Ontario. Where is she from? Toronto? Something like that. Some part of.
Oh, no. Well, Leah's their Texas family. I
thought you meant Lisa. I thought you said Lisa.
Well, I want to see Lisa's family in general.
I'm very curious.
I did see a picture on her Instagram that she took with her mom, and she was going shopping with mom or lunch with mom or something. So she does have a mom, her.
I'm sure she has a mom somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was under the impression that maybe her parents were deceased, or because we've literally heard nothing about him. But at least her mother is alive.
She's from a very normal family, I think.
Yeah,
that's
we know at least that much.
Yeah.
Also, just really quickly, I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but we've kind of touched on it in last season and a few times this season. RJ is headed down the road of serial killer.
Yeah, he with the guns
3 times in the episode, and I made notes of them, which this is awful. Why am I bullying this little child?
No, you're not bullying him. It's hilarious though.
He's I'm gonna take my assault rifles. Number 1, when he's packing. Number 2, can we go to the shooting range and shoot some targets? And number 3, where's
his grandmother? He's let's go.
He goes, yeah, I know where we can get discount shotguns.
Wouldn't you need a gun if you were a boy, a young boy, and you're going through puberty and you're living with the most extravagant mother on the planet who's literally night and day, all she talks about all day long is clothes and bags, and it's probably need a gun under your pillow.
Well, I mean that was kind of what I'm thinking, is that she needs to focus a little bit more on not the differences between her family and her fabulous life in Miami, but she needs to focus on you know, kind of making sure RJ is okay.
Well, I think he just plays on. I think it's all sarcastic too. It's he's just.
You think so?
Well, I don't really think he's when you talk about guns, I don't think you're really gonna use them. I feel like kids it's the quiet ones that don't say anything that usually are the ones that end up being really creepy.
It just seems like he has this obsession with guns and violence, and maybe I'm reading too much into it.
No, you definitely
I know he's a little boy,
but I'm sure they edited it too. He's probably, you're in Texas. I'm sure for a little boy that's a big thing, hunting and guns is probably what else is he gonna talk about? What else is there?
Assault rifles, though.
I know. I don't know.
He's 10. I didn't know. I don't even know. I don't even think I know what an assault rifle is now.
It is weird. Maybe he's got somebody in the family that hunts or something, or maybe he's just really.
Ashley's
done.
giving him the hard benefit of the doubt.
At this point, I'm what I want to say is,
yeah,
it must be tough having Lisa and you are, yeah. I love you.
Yeah, I don't even know what else I was gonna say. Oh, I know. I beat this to death, but I love 1980s cosmetic selling Lisa.
Oh my God.
Let's just talk
about
that.
She has the same voice, the exact same voice, which was just incredible. And she had the hair, she had the perm. I mean, Leah Black with the perm. I loved it. And I'm sorry, but she had the same skin as she does now. She literally did not age. And it's she says she does not do Botox. And I believe, didn't she say she does not do Botox? She never touches her face.
Yeah.
That lady does not have a damn wrinkle on her face.
Yeah, she definitely does something. Which, I mean, no one's judging her for that. Like, it's part of the game.
I think it looks fabulous.
Yeah.
She looks, but she never goes in the sun. If you noticed last episode too, she takes that giant thing and puts it on her head when she walks outside Joanna's place. So she cannot go in the sun.
She can't go in the sun. And maybe it's just a testament to how great her
Skin
products are.
You know, Leah Black
fabulous.
Cosmetics. I should go order some now. Anti-aging.
Yes.
Yeah.
Leah, go ahead and send us some free samples right here.
Please, I'll let you know how it really is. Give you the lowdown. The Black lowdown.
So, guys, head over to iTunes and tell us what you thought of Leah's homecoming. Do you think this made her look better? Do you think this made her look worse? What about Lisa? While you're there, rate and comment on our after show. We love to hear what you have to say. If you have any questions, comments, shout outs, anything.
Yes.
Also, while you're at iTunes, you can pick up a copy of The Adventures of Serial Buddies. It's a comedy that was produced by the founders of AfterBuzz TV, Maria Menounos and Kevin Undergaro. You can pick it up also at Target, Netflix, and Blockbuster, just to name a few locations. So thanks.
Awesome.
All right. So next topic is Alexia and her 10-year anniversary with Herman.
Herman with the pink shirt on this week. Ooh.
All right. So where do we begin? I don't know. I think I could have done without this part in the episode, actually.
You know, it's always with Alexia, right?
Yes.
I never find her interesting. There's never, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm just like, there's no storyline. It's nothing, it's sad, obviously, what her son's dealing with, but there's not much there that you can just like talk about with her. But I love Herman. We need more Herman in our lives. I think he is just so funny. He is, has a lot of money. He obviously treats her like a princess, and it seems like she's got a great.
Okay, I'm gonna call you out a little bit on this. So we're watching the episode, and she's saying something about how like everything she wanted, like in her second husband, like Herman gave her, and you were like, you said something about the money. So do we think that she got with Herman just for the money?
No, I think it's a large reason though, and I don't think that that's a bad thing, because when you have two kids and you are single and you have issues, obviously clearly she's not dumb. He owned, I guess, I don't know if he started the magazine Venue and then she just took over as
I think so,
whatever it is, but let her work there. He's worth $130 million, I believe. It's something of that. He has a net worth of a lot of money, so clearly she's with him for yes, I think it's a large part, but I also think he treats her like a queen. I mean, there's a lot of people with money that literally don't care about anything, just hand the people money, and they hand their wives money. He seems very attentive.
Yeah.
At least on TV. I don't really hang out with them very often. So.
Yeah. He also seems, and this is so judgmental, but I know there was like a little rumors. Someone made the comment that her husband was gay like a few seasons ago. And he was, I'm not going to say he's gay, but he was very feminine.
There are gay tendencies, and it has nothing to do with pink shirt. A real man wears pink.
I was not talking about the shirt.
No.
Just the mannerisms.
The mannerisms, yes, there are. And sometimes men get married, because they want to hide something, and sometimes women are aware of that, and there's an agreement, and that is, I'm not saying that's this case at all, but clearly, after living in LA, I've learned a lot of things about people, and there are a lot of,
unique modern family situations.
A lot of situations, yes. So, but at the end of the day, she seems very happy, and she's got a lot of money. I mean, life is good for Alexia.
It is. And her sons, we saw some little cute shots of them when they were younger.
Yes.
So cute.
With the rings, we were like dying over what Frankie, and especially Frankie was so cute. Oh my God.
They were so cute.
They really are. And it seems like he's a lot happier now, seeing his brother, really working on his, getting better.
Yeah. And he is definitely making progress. We have seen, I guess, from even like last season. Was she on last season?
She was, but she wasn't a full time because of the accident. She was supposed to be full part actor or whatever, not actor. Well, kind of actor.
Yeah.
Whoops.
You said it right.
I guess I was right the first time. But yeah, now she's on fully, and we didn't see a lot of him.
Yeah. When was that we saw him? Like the beginning? Maybe I'm thinking the beginning of this season.
I think it was the beginning of last season, or because that's when the accident first happened.
Really was, not.
He was not
himself.
responsive.
Yeah. And we definitely have seen, him grow, and he has a sense of humor.
Yes.
And that's just wonderful. So good for him.
Absolutely.
I think that's awesome. And that ties into, obviously, what's going on with Marysol and her mom,
Yes.
Mama Elsa.
Clearly, that's why Alexia gives such good advice, too. She's dealing with a similar situation of feeling like you could lose somebody. And it's interesting because Marysol is she really expressed tonight how her fear is just, she has such a fear of losing her mother, and she thinks her life will just end. And, you know, it's something we can all relate to, you know, a fear of losing somebody you love. And she really opened up.
Yeah.
And Alexia gave her great advice, I think.
This is going to be bad, but I think her story, more so than Alexia's, is definitely one that I'm just like, there's not much there. This is Alexia's wedding anniversary. Like, I get it that you're sad about your mom, but maybe just sit this one out and don't come and sit at home and cry about it. I mean, I know it's for the show. Like, it gives the show a storyline that she's sitting here bawling at Alexia's wedding anniversary, and Alexia gives her advice. But to me, Marysol should have maybe stayed home, dealt with it, and then they could have had like a little brunch or something where she could have had the same conversation about being sad about her mom.
Yes, I just think that at this point, Alexia has let all of them get away with a lot, in my opinion. She has let them bully her in some ways, because you remember in one of the first episodes of the third season, when the Leah Black charity event, and Alexia wanted to go, and like everybody was ganging up on her, and she literally ended up not going after she fought. I think she lets things go. I don't think she sets boundaries, and you should set boundaries with friends and let them know, like, hey, like, I'll be there for you, but like you can't do this to me every 2 seconds. Like, I just think that Alexia is like a punching bag, and like they really have no respect for her. In this case, I think that Marysol has just gotten away with being like this for so long that she doesn't even think there's an issue.
Yeah.
It would be really aggravating for me if I had somebody like that in my life. I'd be like, cut you out.
Yeah, and that's the only storyline she has going.
Yes, she does at this point.
I think she's trying to hang on to her spot on the show, and she knows if she doesn't talk about Mama Elsa and create some kind of semi-drama, then she's going to be off the...
Well, that's why she picked on Leah for no reason, because I don't think there was any reason to pick on somebody about... I would never go yell at somebody because they didn't call me or call my mom. I'd be like, fine, then if you don't want to do that, that's fine. That shows your character, but I'm not going to go like chasing you, like, call me. Why didn't you call me? She's obviously so needy. Yeah. I mean, she's extremely needy, but she's a workaholic too. So she doesn't really find time for relationships and friends, but then when she needs them, they're there. So
yeah. You know. I would like to see her find love. Maybe that's what she needs.
I don't think she really has it in her. I think that she's just too selfish, and she's got too much going on. I think selfish in a good way, though. She's got a PR company. I think she's a workaholic. She said it about herself many times. I mean, she got divorced, like, so I don't remember exactly how long after she got married, but on the first season of Miami. Yeah. I mean, she got divorced within like a few months. I think it totally beat the Kim Kardashian 72-day thing.
Was that because of her? Or
it was because of her, she said. She was a workaholic.
Oh. Yeah, I thought it was just he wanted a green card, and so he...
I don't know. I just remember reading, and it was like, she said, you know, I'm a workaholic, so it really wasn't going to work out. I'm like, isn't that the stuff you discuss before you get married? Hey, you know, well, to each his own.
Well, I don't know. I mean, do you have anything
we're done with it.
We're done with them. I don't want to hear about your mom again. No,
please. I mean, oh my God.
That's awful. No, Mama Elsa, like, I really love her. Like, I'm pulling for Mama Elsa because she's awesome, and she is my favorite housewife.
Is she really?
Yeah, even though she's from...
I don't know.
I mean, I think she's so funny, and she's at that age where, like, you're not going to question if something that comes out of her mouth is organic or not, because she is old and does...
A little senile.
She doesn't have anyone to impress, and the things she says are hilarious.
Yeah.
And, I mean, to me, she's the comedic relief on an episode of Housewives where they're...
She's the only reason they probably hired her. Yeah. Hired Marysol in the first place. Because Marysol's literally like watching paint dry. So it's definitely because of her mother. But yeah, done with that one.
But speaking of families and moms.
Yes, and dads and
brothers. The last topic we want to touch on briefly is Joanna and Roman.
Don't get me started.
And their little, how Joanna got her groove back, if you will. So we see them Skyping with all of his family members. And pretty much one after the other is like, not coming to your wedding, not coming.
But what was most interesting, I mean, we kind of expected that. I mean, I wasn't super surprised after hearing about his family. It was his reaction. Because if you think about it, you have somebody that you're marrying, and you're the man, you know, and she has her family, and they're all very supportive. He was making excuses for them. And he had an excuse for every one of their situations, especially with the father. He immediately didn't even let the father finish the sentence. And he was like, well, you know, my dad's just saying that, like, he wants time alone with us. And so having time alone with us, he won't have that at the wedding. So it makes sense. Mm-hmm. It's because it's obviously extremely embarrassing to know that, like, your whole family does not want to come and support you at your wedding. So it's obviously something he's not proud of. Yeah. So he was making excuses for it because it's either he accepts them for the way they are or he just cuts them out at this point. You really can't change people at that age.
Yeah. I think it's probably a defense mechanism for him to try to feel like he's, you know, not admit that he's that affected by the fact that his family's not going to be at the wedding.
Yeah. But his brother was surprising, though. That was, I mean, we know who got the looks in the family. I'm just saying.
His brother, right? You're talking about the brother got the looks, right?
Well, yeah.
No, I'm just
no.
yeah.
Hottie patati.
Is the brother married? Like,
I actually just Googled it.
I can be Joanna's sister-in-law.
Oh my God. Fabulous life. Fabulous.
What surprised me was that they've been dating for 6 years and she's never met his family in person.
Yes. I mean,
even though you live on different continents, like at some point in time, somewhere, there was no Thanksgiving, there was no Christmas, there was no Easter, where there was no vacation to the Bahamas, where everyone just went together.
Well, you would think that she would have more of an understanding as to why they have sexual issues. I mean, you would think that you would at least figure out that, like, if you have issues, if your significant other has mommy issues, daddy issues, brother issues, God only knows how many other issues, clearly it's going to make sense why he's not, like, wanting to jump on top of her every 2 seconds. He's clearly, he maybe have depression. He probably has no idea how to even show love. He's never been given love. And he's got a mixed up, warped idea as to how to show a woman love and to respect them. And he wasn't taught. You know, men learn a lot from their fathers. Even if their fathers aren't around, they still, like, whenever they see them, that's the biggest influence in a man's life. And look at this guy.
Yeah.
Could care less.
I mean, he seems like he made it out okay for his circumstances.
Absolutely.
And hopefully, you know, what we see on the show is how he really is as a person. So kudos to him for at least, you know, being a genuine, decent man.
And I mean, honestly, if it were me and I had ever seen emails like that, I would never, like the emails that Roman had sent to that girl last season, I would have never given him another chance. So the fact that Joanne did, I think that's great. It shows that she really, like, that love, the love that she has for him is just very strong. And clearly it doesn't matter to her.
Her love is so strong that she figures they won't get a divorce, I guess, because we see that he tears up the prenup.
Wow, big deal. She's worth 10 times more than he is.
I know.
So what the hell is that about?
To me, that's a bad decision on her part. Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't know where her net worth is, but he owns a nightclub. For what I know, he owns Mint, right? That's it, Mint nightclub. I don't know. He may have some real estate that he's able to. She's a world, national supermodel. I'm sure she has a lot more money than him, so I really don't know why that was such a big issue. I think it was more about not so much the prenup as to it was more about him doing the action signifying that he is in it for the long haul, and like this is like maybe a symbolic way of saying, "Hey, I am with you forever," I guess, and that was a big deal to her because the trust issues.
Well, I mean, I just think maybe they actually signed one when they actually got married, but I just think that was an awful decision
so stupid
for her. Like,
in Hollywood, it's so dumb.
That was
when
really
are they gonna learn?
Bad on her part. But I mean, if that's what she needed to feel comfortable, then
I hope they stay together. I mean, they're really cute together, and obviously they do love each other. But these reality shows just, I mean, how many marriages have ended in divorce from a reality show?
Yeah. And especially a marriage that has already started off on kind of shaky ground with infidelity, rumors, and now, like, I don't know, sexual, tension. So
a lot of sexual tension. I know.
Yeah.
I mean, she's scary. I'm sorry. I thought to myself, I'm like, okay, yes, she's hot as ever. But if she was attacking me all the time, I would be a little bit afraid for my life. With the black wig too, her alter ego. That
you didn't
was so
like
scary.
The black wig?
I didn't. She's so aggressive. She is like a schoolboy, like a boy in like 7th grade that just like got his first girlfriend and he doesn't know where to put his hands first. Like she's really goes in deep. I can see why he's a little bit like, wait a minute.
Yeah, and he said that. He said when we first started dating, she was much more like a princess, and then she kind of got, more aggressive. But
yeah, definitely.
But I mean, everyone has two sides to them, and obviously when you first start dating someone, that's when you know them least. It's when you really get to know someone that you see their true sides. And I think that when he saw, you know, her being kind of more aggressive and more masculine in some regards, then he should have dealt with that then and there and made the decision to leave or stay. But now to try to change her and, you know, I don't know. That's where I could see the issues coming in the relationship.
I also think that it's the ones that I don't think she's as crazy as she puts up for the cameras, because I know people that literally, I have heard that they are just like wild, really, like they do like crazy threesomes, all this stuff, but they're so like shy and they really don't say much. And the ones that talk about it, they're pretty much
They're
normal.
not about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the ones that don't talk that you got to worry about. Scary. Yeah, unleash the demon. It's like.
And then we see them get like a little puppy.
Oh, was it a Dalmatian?
Yeah,
I don't.
I think
She has
so.
like 1,000 puppies at this point in
She
LA,
does.
right?
Yeah.
All the ones in LA. She's got like some assistants watching them. So this must be her Miami dog, I'm guessing.
So, unless you have anything else to say, that just wraps it up.
Well, I have to say, Leah riding the bull.
Leah riding the bull,
X-rated Leah. I loved that. That was awesome. I mean, she did like some like Cirque du Soleil stuff on there. It was pretty impressive.
And then Lisa is like, so everyone knows, like, I know how to ride things.
I was like, thank God she told me that. I was so worried. I really was going to be upset. I needed to know that she could ride Lenny, and now we know.
Yeah,
so thank God.
We figured she'd know how to.
Sweating on that
you
one.
know, it's not her first rodeo. So.
Not her first rodeo. Absolutely not.
But yeah, overall, I thought this was a really good episode. I liked it.
I think it's going to open a lot of doors to a lot of attention.
For next week. So should we get into some predictions?
Yes.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I don't know.
Goosebumps.
You can go first, Ashley.
Oh, I have lots of predictions. I'm going to say, first of all, that Adriana and Leah are going to be biffles for life again very shortly.
You think so?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna quote Carolyn Manzo right now. I am so sorry, but with a lot of fighting, or whatever the word she says, is with all that passion and arguments, there's so much more love. And I think that all the tears, all the fighting, because they really love each other. Yeah. And I think that is going to be the reason, the rebound for Leah when her and Lisa have their argument, because I definitely foresee something going on, because Lisa's been doing, like you said, these like little digs here and there, and she has a lot to say. Lisa has a lot to say, and Leah has a lot to prove, and it's definitely like not a good match for friendships. And yeah, but hey, a friend that can get you that many Birkins, I would hold on to that person very tight.
Any other predictions, or is that?
That's really, but really, same. I think it's gonna be the same with Alexia, same with Anna, same with Marysol.
I predict, and this is more of a long-term prediction, that, like I said earlier in the episode, that Lisa is going to kind of reevaluate how she's been behaving this season, and that she's maybe going to catch some backlash for all the, you know, focus on all the material things that she does and kind of the digs she's been making. So
you think so? You think she's going to have a little bit of a heart-to-heart with herself?
I mean, hopefully.
Yeah. I think she's just angry, and I think she's bitter. I really do. I don't know. I kind of see... I hate to say that. I really hope the best for them with the fertility. I really do.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't know if they're going to stay together if they can't do it at some point.
Well, where can we find you in the meantime, Ashley, between now and next week's episode?
You can Twitter me at Miss Ashley Daniels, MS Ashley Daniels. Couldn't fit Miss, M-I-S-S. And Instagram at Miss Ashley Daniels. And that's M-I-S-S Ashley Daniels.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Michelle Renee LA.
Yours is so much easier than mine. Everybody has my name. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. It was great. I loved it.
Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff. We would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.